Okay, this is the Public Art Advisory Committee, Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 5:15 p.m. The public may join in person at 25 Park Place in Brisbane, at the Annex Conference Room, Brisbane Annex City Hall, or they may join via Zoom.
Everyone will be here in 15 minutes. Okay. So we'll start with the roll call.
Chair Glassman,
Here.
Vice Chair Greenlee,
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Wait on Councilmember O'Connell. Park and Recreation Commissioner Sewell is absent. Committee Member Salmon.
Here.
Committee Member Kelstead.
Here. Do we have anyone who has requested to attend remotely?
Yes, that would be Councilmember O'Connell when she joins.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 10th meeting?
I move that we approve the minutes from the December meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I guess we're ready to move on to our discussion item, which is meeting with our artists for the Alvarado de San Benito Stairway project. So I'd like to welcome, we have Madeline and Scott McGrath and Angelina Duckett.
Yay, thank you so much. Thank you.
So I have no idea how we will proceed.
I'm happy to kick off.
Okay.
And then open this discussion. So the last we left off was City Council awarded contracts. And we had kind of some preliminary discussions with Karen Ginzer, our Deputy Director of Public Works. Just talking through the logistics of the installation of the stairway, which is separate from this piece of the project. Really just emphasizing the art and beautifying the space and making it very user friendly and welcoming. So we're so happy to have all of you here joining us today. Thank you for coming in person. Thank you for bringing some samples. And the goal today, I know that when council approved the contracts, we provided them with your preliminary proposal and kind of conceptual designs. But the goal here today is to really kind of finalize and solidify those designs so that you can move forward with your process. And so that we can kind of start getting excited about it. But also just determining next steps. So really pleased to have all of you here so that we can talk about the integration of the various art pieces, from the mosaic on the risers to the lighting and the handrails. So you guys had some wonderful ideas about how to create some cohesion between the pieces. So looking forward to kind of hearing about that, but also just an opportunity for members of the public, members of the committee, to come forward and share any additional ideas that they may have in order to present those final designs to the city council. So with that, I know you guys brought some things that you wanted to kind of share with the committee. So I'll just open the floor and we can kind of have an organic discussion about design.
Okay,
Go for that.
yeah, so thanks for having us here, and it's great to be here. Congratulations on getting this far with the project. I heard from a neighbor that they were excited about it happening this summer, and also that we like the idea of installing hand railings that are beautiful, that prevent accidents from happening. That's a really cool thing that we enjoy that.
Yeah.
Also mentioning that a lot of our things that we brought are not completed things. They're just something that started a conversation. We like making them rather than sitting here trying to draw something. It's neat to kind of tell what is the material going to do for us.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add? And we brought a little video to kind of introduce you to our shop that we could show, and then maybe you could talk about what we're doing, because we could just watch it. There's no volume except for the beginning, and then you can just
We'll just talk over it a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
We could talk over it. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Give Angel a moment to pull it up.
Sure. And it shows kind of just part of the process. So it's not the entire how we made that hand railing, but it just kind of shows that we are the only people that are, you know, we're the ones that are interested in doing it, and that's how we do, that's our process.
I mean, one of the things you can see with the sample of handrail is the handrail is like a made kind of handrail, so it's something kind of unique. It feels nice to grab onto and
Yeah, the only part of volume is the very dangerous, come out sense of our shop, just. This is our, it's hair. So it's, you know, our wrong people.
there's a link for and the base to the left.
It's.
See handles on the wall.
You know, see pictures that were.
And black balls to the level. Or gate process.
That's in Sacramento. And then so that you use you know, DNC showing to those are processes. But when we do everything data, and these very changed.
As machines are like whole 1950s, 60s aircraft machine
Oh,
like textures.
Where is your shop?
It's not near you, somebody.
You're always walking, we're always there working. Our hammer, yeah, we just.
Yosemite, the street, or Yosemite, the park.
The park,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called America, Way Communities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can see that piece right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's your.
That
that's
actual
where
piece right there.
We're just messing around with textures and heating it on the board.
I decided some surface texture
Yeah.
on it. Just,
Nice.
This
And then
is a-
there's some equipment that's electric.
This is great. It's like a hand operated press from the 19th century.
More heat. There's always more heat to metal.
Yeah, the handle's made with heat, so.
And then we go outside, and this is where we decided that we wanted to bring in an arc. And kind of struggling with the concept, and kind of got a brace in the back of it, this rail. So when you look out on it, you're seeing kind of an arc shape right here. So it's kind of resting against that arc shape.
This
Pressing
is where we do the back fold.
the post brackets because we're running to fashion mount them into the side instead of into the surface of the stairs.
wow.
I don't take any
Right,
out of
or-
this. There's the shadow from the light.
It turned out pretty cool.
That's
Shadows.
gorgeous. Yeah, that's amazing.
And then just some inspirations taken from your area with you know, what you have. There are the mountains that have been protected up there. And I think just that reverence for the nature up there is really what we work here.
Some very deep arcades.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, we have an art trail and a sculpture trail. We like people to come look at some of our pieces, more abstract pieces we have. But just, you know, just think about that because just looking at art in nature. It's nice. And I think that it walks up to the end of the path here, so I think I'm gonna add this.
Yeah, and this, looks better.
Just a natural environment. So,
Big oaks,
yeah. Yeah, the sample we bought of oak, over there and show that. The aircraft machines we showed you, that's where we get some of the textures.
So, I mean, I think a while back when we started doing metal work, we would do like kind of linear stuff with rods and, cut out stuff. And this sort of shows like, this is sort of a profile of the tree, and we'll be like some other stuff that's like some cutout things that are textured in the thing. So it's not just super linear,
And these areas of like Type
two railing,
The guardrails.
which were,
Right.
yeah, kind of will be like the main canvases of some of the
are,
metal
yeah,
work, so.
Hmm.
And
Filling
then,
it in and with, with the kind of textured sheet metal, so we can get the code properly with the 4-inch minimum for these things.
and I mean, in this sample, it's kind of just we might address like some of this stuff where these might be heavier. There might be like some stuff connecting these, so people can't pry these leaves off.
And these
Yeah.
things
You
would
know,
not
it's
be,
like-
probably not be the black oak leaves.
Yeah, they probably won't be the black oak, they'll probably be like,
Mhm.
but it's just kind of gives you a general feeling of some different
What do you
textures.
mean by black oak? I mean, the leaf, the leaf
Deciduous,
shape?
yeah.
or
Yeah, the
leaf
leaf
shape?
actual shape.
Yeah,
I was thinking we were gonna try to go more toward what you have.
Yeah,
And I mean, we probably need to investigate a little bit more, but I don't know, do you
Live
have any
oak.
deciduous oaks up there as much as the live oaks?
Yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so we might be able to get some
Yeah.
larger leaf oaks. So, I mean, I think we talked about a live oak at
Yeah.
one point, but they're not as interesting, they're just,
true.
Yeah, this is
Mhm.
as
yeah, so they don't have this in much, nodes.
And I'm curious
Yeah.
about the patina, because you've got the silver and then you've got kind of this more
Mhm.
natural.
so, yeah, and we're gonna have this stuff galvanized, so it's gonna
Okay.
be, it gets hot dipped in zinc.
Mhm.
And it makes it very resistant to weather. It makes it super longevity. And that's all that these are representing. And so there won't probably be, they won't be this shiny,
Mhm.
but it's sort of a background canvas.
Mhm.
And there is a lot of dark fencing.
Mhm.
So we might like want to leave some of it to kind of like highlight,
Invisibility.
kind of make it a
Some
little more
little
visible.
texture of some sort.
Yeah, like maybe we might use some like more like clear colors so that the brightness kind of stays, but they're not just monochromatic.
Can you hold that up? So, because
Yeah.
we just had Councilmember O'Connell join,
Yeah.
or and not that one, that might be Henny, but the other,
Oh, yeah.
she didn't get to see that.
So you're going to mix the metals, you're gonna have like this bronze with the shiny silver?
I don't know if we have had,
It's facing this guy right here, actually, this little.
Oh,
it's right
okay.
here.
I don't know if we've had a,
You'll need to.
Wait, let him talk, okay, and then it'll. Make it up.
Okay, here's the,
Keep talking.
this is the,
I did get a
Sample.
quick peek at it. I did get a quick peek at it when it showed earlier before I was promoted. So thank you. I did get a look at it.
we could send a picture too.
My bad.
yeah, and I mean.
Let me take, I'll take some photos.
It's really counterintuitive too, though, because she's
Oh,
behind you.
right.
To show it, Joe.
Yeah, like I said, when we kind of, sometimes when we first started making gates and stuff, we'd use like linear rods to kind of like keep the gate light, and then
Mhm.
railings isn't necessarily as important to like worry about weight.
Mhm.
So, we try to do heavier things, and we started doing this more like sculptural, like profile thing. So kind of gives it more of a combination of feel of.
Right, I think,
I'll
if
go
I'm
up here
mistaken,
too,
your question.
Yeah,
Mo,
I could
was-
come up here that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
I think the question that you had, Lisa, more was, when you look at the coloring and the presence of the silver, and then the presence of the more muted kind of gold, are they gonna be that contrasting? Or are you looking at some sort of highlighting, but more of a blending? I think
Yeah.
that's your
That was
question.
my question.
Yes,
That is actually, that's
I
what
would think
more
that,
blending.
more
Okay.
blending.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I think her
Right.
question was.
Yeah.
Maybe not go as dark on this one, because this was started for another project,
Okay.
but maybe like
But-
use some metallic highlights.
Yeah.
I think
And
so.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I like the bronze a lot.
The
Yeah.
darker tone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this is brighter,
Yeah.
it does allow it to stand out more, but it's more monochromatic
Mm,
and.
yeah.
This,
this sort of represents like, oh, this just came out of the galvanizers, even though. this
Yeah,
is just
that's
silver.
before it's gotten its
Mhm.
next steps of, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's like the step one.
Okay, and then what's the next step gonna be? Is it gonna be color, or is it gonna be bronze, or what's it gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe with Angelina's mosaics, we know, like,
Very colorful already.
maybe there's a spot on the stairs where the sunshine starts happening and kind of correlate some, the metalwork starts correlating to what's going on with the mosaics and
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
great idea.
colors either
That's actually-
contrast or so.
Yeah, what we could do is make samples and then go from that. Go there, because I mean, that's kind of the final treatment. It's good to have that in mind because it's what we
I
see
think
at
what
the
we're
end.
doing is looking at shapes.
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
We're
Oh,
looking
just
at
shape.
shapes.
That's a good point.
So the final patina is not.
good-
it's
it's
gonna-
not
it's still to
there.
be-
We know we're gonna galvanize it. We
Okay,
know it's
yeah.
gonna be this color at some point.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
So
Yeah.
what happens after that?
And that's a really nice process because
Yeah.
it has to be taken to this facility and they dip it in this 900 degrees molten zinc and it really things that were, when this galvanizing process was invented, things are still around from the invention of this process, so it's very,
Yeah, I have a galvanized roof. I love it.
so,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Oh, I'm
It's like
excited.
The metalwork. And the other, yeah, I don't know where we stopped with some discussion, but just this general like. Idea, we have 3 or 4 different designs because of the different stairs that we're dealing with. Not design, but pitch, we have some that are flat and then some that are, depending on what the staircase is doing at that time, which we're mapping it out through the really great drawings that you have. And what else can we say about this? When we get up to the art panels, these, then we're going to have that come up slightly higher because of the 42 inches that it has to be at. So it's it'll look good. We'll make it
Yeah.
blend nicely
Yeah,
so that it comes up higher. And then this is kind of like a frame. We'll work through those areas so that those are going to be taller.
and the initial thing was like, just put a post there, but we kind of came up with this idea so we could have, not only make it stronger, and one of the things with galvanizing, you have to have holes in both ends for the galvanizing process. You can't have a closed area because they dip in hydrochloric acid first to etch it. And so all surfaces have to be open. So we're always investigating, well, what's a different way to do it besides, a tube? And we're like, well, this is kind of people have been doing this like a T metal thing. So it's actually, T-post. So it's actually stronger. And then when you look at it from the profile,
I don't know if we can see it.
it'll be kind of like this design,
Yeah.
this cool design feature as you,
That's very.
So as you're looking up,
So beautiful.
you'll see it's kind of, and you won't really realize there's this organic shape until you're walking
Right.
along the path.
and that, I think we haven't really designed your front lights as much yet. Or even thought through it completely, but we wanted to bring in a little bit of that attitude that has that arc shape, because I think we showed you some inspiration for this. We had shown you some lights we did that had that kind of arc. And I thought that was a neat way to go about that. There was a question that's like about if we were going to have that thing continue over it all the way.
Oh.
I don't think that we are. Okay. That's one of
Because
the
I didn't know,
sites.
that was interesting. I never knew that was.
And so,
There's on the top side, there's a,
I think those
Fire
were the
hydrant.
pictures that, there were 3 pictures I sent in, and
Oh.
maybe we could talk about that while we're.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
That
so
one
it's
right
a
there?
baby.
because I think in the drawing, the light might be on the right side. Can someone correct me if I'm wrong about that?
well, there is this power,
Whoops. What happened?
there is a power pole on the left side.
His vein is the worst. Wait.
And,
Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Australia.
Definitely.
It's Australians. Get rid of the cute puppy thing.
Yeah, so when we went over there, we looked at it and we thought, I can't remember where that light is.
but the power pole is definitely like,
Power pole's here.
very like visually cluttering, so we're thinking here,
Is that what the understanding
Yeah.
is? On the left?
Question for staff,
Absolutely.
because I
Okay.
think this actually brings up an interesting thing that's like kind of separate to this conversation, but about the car. And like access, so are the stairs gonna come kind of more through this dirt area? Are they gonna follow the same path? Because
I had a feeling when I looked at the drawing and compared it, I thought they were gonna be more like centered.
because I would think that this would be like parking a car that close would be problematic.
Yeah, I don't have the drawings from Karen with me.
Yeah, I think the easement only goes to their wall, so.
Yeah.
But I think the stairwell will, you know.
Well, they have to have the access to their stairs to their front door.
Yeah, but it
But the
doesn't have to be
car-
the access to the parkway.
But not the car.
But
You
the
know,
car is
yeah.
really
Right.
like,
I'm not sure
The,
that's
the
illegal.
access to
Right.
their house could be a different access than the stairs going up and down.
Okay, is
Does
that?
that make, so to the left of the stairs is what I think they're referring to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
You know
I know,
what
and
mean?
she said, when we talked to her, she said they come out of this door and go into this room. That way,
That's how they go and.
into that room, and I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
have an internal staircase?
no.
Maybe
So,
Okay.
Mm.
But
I'll get confirmation about that.
Yeah.
honestly.
I think there might need to be like some message, like there might need to be a conversation about. Just to manage expectations about like. What we're expecting.
Yeah.
With regards to like access to this, cause
Mhm.
you know, if you look at this now, it really just looks like somebody's. House,
that's what I mean.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's really no clear. I'm glad you guys went over there and looked, cause it's really hard to explain.
yeah,
And I feel like photos don't really. It's tell the full story, but it's like, that's why what you guys are both doing is so integral to. This project, because not only are we, you know, rehabbing this whole thing and making it more functional, but it's also like. A lot of members of the community don't realize that this is a path for them. So I think putting these things there help to communicate that, but also like the wayfinding sort of stuff
Yeah.
that you were mentioning
Right.
is super critical.
Okay.
Because if I was walking here and I didn't know, I wouldn't think
Wouldn't
like,
wanna go by that.
let me
house. Yeah.
walk around this car
Yeah.
up these stairs that look like they're part of somebody's house.
Right.
Isn't it, am I mistaken that to the left of the car in the concrete, there could be, the stairs could actually, the walkway could actually come down there? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, no,
I
that's-
think in the
I don't know.
in the architectural,
No,
We don't know.
oh.
But even so, though, even
Okay.
if it did come over there, this stairs clearly are gonna go all the way to, because that's how these people use.
There's,
They need these stairs
That's
to
what I
their
mean,
house,
yeah.
so
so
it still
it would
may
be to the
look.
left of their stairs.
It
is my
makes
point.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
but-
my point.
But it may still look like it's
Oh,
like
I see, like, people could
their
use that.
house,
I see what you're saying.
you know.
right, so if we
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if we like,
oh, there was a railing or something.
you know, here's the fence here, and then here's the power pole here.
Yeah,
And then we just kind of create this like, kind of metal tree,
yes.
you know, that kind of looks like. You know, it's kind of like, oh, the Paris Metro, but it's like Alvarado Street, you know?
Yeah.
I don't-
Alva.
I'll-
Alva.
I shouldn't even tried that,
Yeah,
sorry.
just do that.
Here,
So-
no,
Yeah, so it was, I think the
Right.
idea was that it was gonna be two Alvarado Street or two San
Yeah.
Diego.
Right.
And that could have just been the reason why that comment was.
Right.
Yeah,
that you're not on that street, but you're going to that.
it's
street.
going in that
Because
direction.
when you're entering the Paris Metro, it says,
Right.
you know.
Like, we don't
to-
necessarily need to tell
to-
people
that's
where they're at,
Gibbon.
more like where they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
two, and then the next, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be, yes.
So it could be a helpful thing. Yeah.
Right, you already know you're on that street, so you're.
So you
in-
go
going-
two,
Yeah.
that's a way to, which is,
Maybe some arrow.
Yeah, I think there were little arrows where they were probably indiscernible, you know, once it's printed out.
It looks like Terry has her hand
Yeah, she has a
raised.
question. Go ahead, Terry.
Thank you. So if I can ask on the photo of the home, where is the city's easement? Is it to the left of the stairs? And we're not gonna be encroaching on their stairway?
No,
no, precisely.
the stairs are our stairs already. It's like their house.
It's
Like-
on the property line?
Yes. They don't have front stairs.
Yeah.
Their front
So they
stairs
have
are
no-
ours.
They have no access to their home except through our easement?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the easement the full width.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like in the drawing.
Correct.
And is the car that's parked there, normally, is that the car that sort of sticks out into the street anyway,
Yes.
with the way they
Yes.
park?
Yes. It's a
They
big car.
And that there could be an issue, with compliance of them using that parking place the way they are?
No, that's why I said maybe we should, staff might need to have a conversation.
I know that Karen has already spoken to those homeowners.
Okay, about the parking?
I don't know if it's about the parking, but about the entrance to the house, yes.
Well, that whole side of the street, because I live on Alvarado, that whole side of the street, people park
Mhm.
in the street.
Creatively.
Creatively, yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Yes.
I've also seen that car just parked legally on the side,
Mhm,
you know.
I have to.
So,
And
down the
again,
way-
going back to the picture of the house, if we can for a second.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing that, but, the buildings that's to the front of that lot, is that originally a garage?
knows.
I don't know.
That's weird. It looked like it had a
Yeah.
retaining wall or something, like maybe it was maybe the ground was excavated and maybe it was a garage, the ground was excavated. But it's like, why isn't there a staircase
On the
Going-
inside of the house.
going right there?
Yeah.
And
These houses are very old though,
Yeah.
so they didn't even probably look where they were building at the time and then. switched
It's
it.
almost like it's like a bonus room that was added on.
yeah,
Mm.
Probably.
My friend is the daughter of the people who live there.
Oh.
So I used to have play dates in this house.
oh,
So I know
interesting,
what the inside looks like, and it was almost like that was like an extra bonus room
right?
added on, like
Oh, and you go
later.
outside to
There's
go
like,
in there.
it's like
Yeah.
set down. So there's no way to get, cause it's like the foundation and it's like stepped,
Oh,
so there's no way to get down into that.
Okay.
So that it's
Like,
not,
it comes,
That's like what Scott was saying. Yeah, she said she comes out up here and then walks in there.
I was ready to start designing a new staircase
Okay.
going up the first thing and the second one, and
Yeah,
my brain got all.
Which she did bring a good point up for Public Works and during the time of construction. That could be a concern.
But I don't know if they're planning to leave the steps on the right and then build the 4 foot on the left.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that would be.
We'd have a slope plan.
But I mean, typically, for the design discussion now, I think definitely. I feel like this is would be the prettiest spot to
Yeah.
do something
Yeah,
interesting.
Okay.
For just, yes.
Yeah. And then, oh, I didn't get the picture sent to you on the others, San Benito, but we know that it's not gonna be on the side with the fire hydrant on that side.
So it's pretty much the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be on.
It'll be on your right when you're entering and not on your
Right.
left.
Okay. Yeah.
That just seems the natural.
The fire hydrant seemed pretty far over to the left in this picture.
And the fire hydrant's over here, so.
Yeah.
There's like enough little spot here, there's a culvert, kind of looking, it's going up.
And then we'll just confirm that with Karen, yeah, about where that light
Yes,
really needs to be.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, that was probably it, unless you want to show the last two pictures and then we can turn this light on and then I don't know if you have anything else to say. We can answer any questions at that point. I just wanted to show kind of what we envision it to look like as a stair railing. My
Really
lovely daughter.
No, there's,
So
too.
just a few moments ago, so.
earlier today.
then-
How are you going to end the posts? Are they curling around or what are they doing?
Well, ADA requires that the post comes down
Uh-huh,
and then doesn't come too tight because you want to go low enough if someone has a cane and they
Oh, okay.
can't see.
okay.
So it has to come within like 20 inches of the ground. So typically on commercial stuff, you'll see it kind of arc down and be kind of big.
Okay.
So that's
And
kind of what I'll do.
sometimes we've wrapped it around things, like kind of root around like we do with
yeah,
some things,
okay.
which looks cool. And another comment, I don't know who brought that up about the railing for the younger person.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was Karen.
Karen, that was a nice thought, and that's something we've been kind of thinking about. We forgot to add something to this one, but just some similar ADA type of thing, but
Lower.
lower down.
Nice.
Maybe it won't be continuous, but like
Yeah.
maybe some stuff on the landing, something to grab
Something
onto.
to grab onto.
And,
And
the
then-
baller light sort of
Yeah, oh, it's on already.
Yeah, so it has kind of like,
So we think, oh, making a bollard light, and then we look at bollard lights and I don't know, it just, we kind of came up with the best of what we could for an artistic light that sort of is like a bollard.
yeah, Madeline liked the idea of using some kind of rock. And then someone mentioned that there's crystals on San Bruno Mountain, so we kind of created this like crystal shape that
Which
plant was
also
kind of-
provides a
I
spot
also
for
think
like,
it's so whimsical.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
very.
It provides a spot for our, attachments and things.
Exactly.
Bolting it in.
and the electrical connection.
The whole thing looks like it's
Yeah.
incredibly enchanting.
Yes.
Like
It's not
enchanted
so-
garden stuff.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
And then also, we wanted to be thoughtful about something that could be hosed off or power washed off too if need be, or cleaned
Yeah.
and smooth enough. Also that, we decided to put, you call them engines.
Yeah,
A lot of people using these. You wanna talk about?
well, I mean, originally we thought we'd use some kind of, socket that was something you could change the light bulb, and then we're like, people kind of mess with bulbs and take them out, and then you have to have a cavity for the bulb to go into. And, a lot of lighting is going to an actual LED thing, and it's like a little puck. And what's nice about it, there's no room, there's no spot where the bulb has to go. It's fairly flat.
Yeah, it's from.
So we're gonna have to talk to Public Works about it, but it's not unusual that if this fails after 80,000 hours, that this is gonna have to be replaced, which is 7 or 8 years or something, but it's kind of the way lighting's going is sort of this thing. So we're gonna try to make sure there's something in there that is a fairly easable change. So,
Does it get hot?
no,
The metal get hot?
Feeling this,
not compared to a regular incandescent.
Okay,
it's just,
This is 1,000
you can feel
lumens.
there's something, but it's
Okay.
not hot.
but it's not hot. Yeah.
And it'll be outside.
Yeah, that's
too.
true.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's 1,000 lumens and it's like 18 watts. So,
Will it heat up like those slides back in the seventies that were all metal?
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, no, there's not enough sun in that.
Yeah,
space.
there's not enough
What's-
sun in
What's the
space
metal?
for it.
Shaded in
Steel.
there.
Steel.
It
So
will,
when we get hot days, heat waves and stuff, what's that gonna do? Where, we're
It's so
looking at.
shady there. They're thinking of me, so.
Well, it's shady for one thing, and we've noticed with metal that we've shot it before in the hot sun, and it's not very much hotter if it's not dark.
yeah, the lighter color, the better.
So
Okay, so if it were more,
if we leave the handrail itself
The same.
a lighter color,
It'd be best.
it'd be better. And we've waited out in 110-degree weather and shot these things, and they're not that hot once it's a lighter color. It's surprising what the color can do for.
interesting.
I don't feel like there's much direct sunlight there.
No,
though.
there's
We
not.
really don't
It's pretty-
get that hot. I mean,
No, not at all.
climate change, but.
No, I was just thinking
I mean,
about the light, that's the only thing. The
Well,
hand-
I was thinking if you're providing a handrail for kids,
Yeah,
that was my
Mhm.
concern about, like, if it got hot
Too
enough.
hot for them.
Right,
Mhm.
especially for the little kids who are probably more likely to be.
Yeah, and I think the galvanized helps with that because it's
very reflective.
thermal reflective kind of thing. I mean. You're right, it does get hotter than wood, speaking of materials, but I think that it's pretty standard. The railings that are out there on the artist path are
Yeah,
that same
yeah, they
thing.
And they're more exposed.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing about the lighting for the entrance thing, I just wanted to make a quick little note that we were thinking of some kind of little like morning glory kind of shape.
So it's slightly different.
Slightly different, but like, so there's maybe not one light at the entrance, but these are,
They're more.
this is like this thing kind of spread out. So that was
Hmm.
kind of on the arch, like a series of little kind of magical lights that kind of
Oh, that's nice.
entrance. kind of like-
To see how far up the first bollard light is, to see if there's a need for a lower down light.
Yeah, we'll check
When we look
that.
at that drawing.
Very cool.
We may need to add another lower light onto the entrance.
Depending on where the bollard was designed, but
Is this hot dip gallery?
Yeah,
Yeah, we, more galvanizing in Madera.
Okay. For a refinishing that needs to happen, can you just use like a zinc spray? That's probably not ideal. You'll be able to see a difference, but
yeah,
In fact, that's what we're gonna be needing to do when we weld it in place.
there's definitely gonna be some field welds, but
Yes. We're gonna need to do that to construct it. So I don't know when to have that conversation about construction, but
yeah.
we,
But whatever color, if there's like highlights that get put on with a like epoxy paint, something that's like, you know, highlights get put on, if those fade over time, just like powder coating could, it's like, or something doesn't like stand up forever, it's like, you've always got this,
Mhm.
you know, you've always got this base coat, you're not gonna be fighting rust, so
That's
it's a
which.
a big deal. It happens, you know.
But we use real thick metals anyway, so if this were gonna be rusting, it would be a long time before the concrete would probably wear out, probably before it.
Yeah.
But it's good to be careful and we'll provide a manual of care for all the things that we produce and the components. I think that's all in the contracts that you sent to us, so. We will find to comb all of that and work on all whatever you need and.
so it'll be hot dip gallery regardless of
Yeah.
the color.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can,
the content will be added on the top.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk about the mosaics?
Or before we move to the mosaics, I just wanted to ask if the public had any questions for you specifically. Before we moved over, do you have any questions?
My house is the one on the left,
Okay.
so, I'm a little concerned what it will look like, what it will be like. That's all. And my one concern is lighting, if it's lit up, because all our bedrooms are on that side. So that is a big concern. That it's not going to be bright neon lights lining up the left side or even the right side of the light.
No, all of the lighting has to be compliant with our dark sky ordinance, so it's all ground facing, nothing's like projecting upwards, it's all very soft lighting, so. Yeah.
Close to the ground, like,
Because I
Yeah.
do that too, I have very little lights.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah, and that's why,
we wanna be sensitive to that, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
and it's good you brought that up because these little lights that we are designing are very small and, you know, we just wanted to be kind of like have a presence but not be too.
overwhelming.
Kind of like the Christmas lights you see around it. That kind of inspired us to see that City of Stars and the Christmas lights, that feeling of it. So how we could bring our metal work to have that little sparkle. And then on the same token, this light does not need to even be this tall. We could make it even lower if there's concern
That is
for,
nice.
you know, like
Yeah.
maybe someone can tell us if they would prefer these to be lower to the ground.
Yeah,
I like
Mhm.
this.
I like,
mean,
but maybe they could have different sizes.
Depending on where, you know, maybe there's a spot.
You don't have to get
Yeah.
lost.
That's
I mean,
true.
I think here
Yeah.
you can really see it's a flower,
Mhm.
it's a vine, or a crystal, you
Yeah.
can see
Okay.
like those details to me.
Yeah.
And all the lights we're gonna do 2700K, which is the lowest spectrum. So it's not gonna feel like fluorescence, you know, just color.
It's not gonna be like a street light. right?
No,
And
Yeah.
because it prevents it from.
Yeah,
going
well, I mean,
up.
it's gonna be pretty home, so right, we.
Yeah.
And always moves always. I mean.
And there are 6 of them, I believe, 6 bollard lights, and then 2 entrance lights. I remember, right?
Mhm.
I think so, unless it's 4 and 2.
Oh, that's pretty beautiful.
Do you have any other questions, Albert?
No, I think that's okay right now.
Okay. And then, the person online, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Okay, great. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
so
Oh, we're
far.
so excited to see this
Yeah.
starting to happen. Thank you.
And then also it's the grass will build, you know, the codes, everything, we
Yeah.
understand all the things that need to happen, so that it passes the
yeah.
inspections that you need.
That's great.
All right, great. Well, Angelina, welcome.
Thank you. Well, I just want to start by saying I'm so excited to be here today also. I don't have a video to show. but yeah, I'm here to answer questions and, I'm glad that we can discuss design between merging the light from the mosaics. Already in looking at your website and everything, it's very whimsical, so I already know that I wanna have the mosaic designs, the finer details be more whimsical. I think I'm very open to whatever changes want to be made, and you know, if it's too dark in one area, too light in one area, or you know, open to really anything.
Do we want to put up the
So, yeah.
rendering?
Yeah, it's easily accessible, otherwise you can just pass it around, but this was kind of the
Because Terry
conceptual
really should
design.
see, I mean, Terry
Yeah.
should be able to see.
I know, it's hard that she, just joining in the middle of the project, so,
send her a
I think
picture.
it'll just probably, yeah. if you wanna send her a picture, that'd be great. And of course, all this is accessible on all of our past public art meetings, so anybody who's, you know, here, I'm trying to explore it and all the
on the
design
website.
of the public works, design of the stairwell, as in the past meeting, I believe that was the.
So is the
August,
top
September
concrete
meeting.
and then you're doing the ceramics
The right.
on the, what do you call that, the right?
The right.
So you'll be during the
The
second
base.
half, like, and so we'll have a lot more time, like,
Yeah,
whenever, like a number of months or whatever, where we'll start working with you on design, I guess.
yeah.
It's fun.
And are you going to be doing these panels in your studio and then bringing them and installing them?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because standing there and doing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Laying on the stairs.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Come on.
Actually, these things are in the
Yeah.
agenda packet, so
Mhm.
they're all on our website for this evening's meeting.
So I think one thing that came up prior, and I don't know if it was related to you, but we'll just, this was my comment, was that you're kind of seeing it, right? And we want to attract people, right? We want it to be clear that this is an accessible stairway. Which is why I think together with the wayfinding that they will install, I think the mosaics help to signify to the public that this is a stairway that they can use. It's really important. And I was just concerned that like the darker tiles, because it's kind of a dark area anyway, but especially later in the evening, that I think a lot of the impact could get lost. And so I just didn't know, like, if we wanted to do something that went like into the night sky, maybe like more stars or planets or something that could bring in more color and more reflective, you know, you could bring in mirrors or other things to just help make that impact, because at night, like, you know, we still want to be able to have people enjoy the mosaic where like some of the darker colors may not pop. So I just didn't know if you had any thoughts about that.
She's about the glitter.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
Definitely, there's lots of different materials that I can work with, iridescent, sparkle, mirror, marbles, many things I can use to kind of add more interest. So it's not just like a dark night sky with a few stars. You know, I really wanted to highlight the top as showing that it's the city of stars. So yes, I can create kind of a more fun
Contrast.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Maybe just the gradations a little bit.
Yeah, a
bit
little
lighter.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry. Go.
Oh, and also I think lighting up there, you know, somehow we can get lighting low enough to kind of be sure to show those mosaics as you're going up.
That's a good point. That's like where that collaboration.
Yeah, that's where they were
That's where that-
talking. And that, I guess my question is, do you guys are gonna be continuing to talk all along? I mean, you've established your relationship and your communication
Yeah.
between, it's a collaborative effort.
Oh, no, I kind of jumped the gun on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I like the idea though, because the mosaic, like the stars could be somewhat reflective on the lighting
Yeah.
that you guys have up there too. You
Yeah.
know, reflect.
Yeah, we just did a Starry Night Yosemite kind of Van Gogh thing that I was pretty proud of. So I can maybe
cool.
like show kind of what that panel looks like and could be a Starry Night Brisbane kind of
Yeah.
feel on the metal work. A little, just a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
a little, what do you call that little thing?
Yeah.
Vignette,
Yeah.
We might have done so.
yeah, a little nod to the art world.
Yeah, little spiral,
Yeah.
Yeah,
little Vinny, little
Yeah.
Vincent.
Yeah, I definitely think including near us at the top, especially as, you know, the Starry Night would be really beautiful and yeah, definitely.
that's why you mentioned marbles, because I found that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a historic marble.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot of time to work.
And I think in the video, your video showed the reflection of the light on the ground. So
Yeah.
I think that will help cast light downwards onto the mosaic.
Yeah, I wonder also if you're able to kind of not only cast downwards, but a little bit not up, but towards the
Sideways.
Yeah.
mosaic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, originally when we did this, you know, we did this design, so some of the light came out of the side
Yeah.
and then,
Oh.
you know, so
Right.
it's not just a
Just-
flower that all the light comes out of the
Yeah,
bottom.
that's kind of why we went with the spiral, so that's
Mhm.
open.
Yeah,
It
it's
just makes
Yeah.
a feeling of a flower. You don't know what flower. It could be a poppy, it could be a lupin, or, you know, I didn't want it to look like Bug's Life, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be too obvious with the
Yeah,
thing,
it's more
but
subtle.
Mhm.
So with respect to your concept, because we haven't actually gotten to talk to you face to face yet, but and I know you just kind of you presented your rendering, but we haven't really gotten to the nitty gritty of the design. So in talking with them and did you have any like could you describe maybe some of the finer details that you would like, or are there going to be more finer details like throughout the stairs? Because you see it obviously in the front, right? It's very clearly like plants and stuff, but as you're going into like the water and the greenery and stuff, are you envisioning that to just be mostly different colors, or are you thinking more finer like things within that, like
Yeah.
fish or is it supposed to be more almost like watercolor vibes where it's like
I
just
mean, I'm
abstract.
definitely open to whatever is preferred. This was just kind of my first visual to get an overall idea of what it could look like. Definitely up closer, there's gonna be more detail and you know, in the water, I think, for example, from far away, it could just look like those colorful things, but up close, there would be more, you know, the way that things are cut, it adds more interest and more.
Yeah.
more
really,
visual
so-
texture.
Yeah.
More surprise, you know,
Yeah.
to discover.
Yeah,
as you're going
and
up.
I have examples of previous work that I've done that I can always share. So you can see what it looks like up close. And then same thing with kind of the greenery in the mountains, you know, maybe some more shapes of trees and
Within, this was in the packet too, but maybe that speaks to like the detail and the texturing.
Yeah.
That could be.
yeah,
Passed over.
yeah. Yeah, that can speak a little bit to it, and then
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I can show an example of some water that I've done. Just one moment. Yeah, so here, for example, you can see this is supposed to be wavy water. That's a lot more detail and that has fish in it, but you know, like the strip of blue would be many different pieces in it.
That's what I think is cool. From far away, you experience the work one way,
Yeah,
but then as you're getting closer, you're starting to realize, oh wow, like it's almost like this. We talk a lot about surprise art, where it's like there's unexpected moments. And so I could see that like with your piece,
Yeah.
from far away, you're seeing mostly color, but then as you're looking up the stairs, you're noticing
Yeah.
maybe little things.
Yeah, and I also wanted to, you know, with the stars, I didn't want to just have them up top. I thought it'd be cute to have more stars kind of sprinkled down throughout the whole design.
For me, I think, this is just my opinion, I think that the most important thing is that all the artists who are putting this together are there to make sure that you are complementing.
Yes.
And having a combo, so that we don't be two pieces of work. Does that make sense?
Right.
That you're both agreeing like, yes, I love that idea.
Thank you.
And that
seaweed
they're
is-
doing this, so
Oh,
that's
the
going
Caribbean,
on.
the-
See the collaborative effort.
That's
And we can recognize and appreciate and honor both arts. and
Hang on,
what they
we've
made
got like
together.
two
Does that make
conversations
sense?
going on.
To me, I think that
Mhm.
is really what we're
Yeah,
looking for. And that's why I asked, do you feel like you guys are communicating?
Yeah, well, I feel like after meeting today is kind of for me,
Yeah.
getting the ball rolling and next steps can be
Mhm.
talked
Yeah.
about and more incorporated.
Right.
This I love too, like all the different types of.
Councilmember O'Connell, go ahead.
Hi, I think looking at the designs that I've seen on the mosaics, I think it's beautiful and the way it visually draws you up the stairs. But I do have a question for pedestrian safety during the daytime. Are the stairs gonna be delineated enough for people to see the stairs as they're walking on them? Or does it need to have some sort of color break so that people see the definition between stairs? And I'm not sure if that's been thought of, and as this is my first meeting, I'm coming in late to the game. But I worry that there's not enough definition where people may not see where the stair is. And I know that because we're redesigning these, they're not gonna be at varying heights like the stairs in our current stairways, where, you know, some are 3 inches, some are 5 inches, some are 1 inch. And it could be a
That's
tripping hazard if you don't see the stair. So I don't know if there's some way that you can texture or give a definition stripe at the top of the stair on the plate.
Carrie? Yeah, we did discuss this when we were looking at the proposals, and that was a concern, but I think when you're looking at the artist rendering. That it looks more uniform than it's actually going to be because it is a functional stairwell or stairway. So there is going to be definition when they are actually installed, and yeah, that is, you know, I mean, this is something we're not gonna have, and I don't think Public Works is going to allow us to put a stairway in where people can't see the different stairs, because that's a public
And you have
safety
to remember,
issue.
the top is still concrete.
Right.
If you're coming down, you're just looking at
Right.
stairs.
Yeah,
So
when you're
there's,
coming
so
down
yeah,
the
so
stairs,
this is something that when we were looking at the initial proposals and stuff, this was something that we had discussed, and I believe we discussed with Angelina also. In terms of, that very issue about like making sure that there was definition on the
Okay,
stairs.
good. I just wanted to
And there
make
are
sure that it's
breaks.
brought up.
Yeah. And then there are breaks, so it's not like one straight stairway going up, there are like where it levels off, platforms where it levels off and then goes up again, so it's like short stairways, not one straight stairway up between Alvarado and San Benito.
I think this brings up an interesting thing to talk through though, because the rendering is almost like in a perfect world, like it's like, but I think that's not gonna be the real experience of it. Yeah, so I'm curious, like, if you'll take that into consideration as you're planning out, so that it does look like as much as like a cohesive piece where you realize as you're approaching that it's like split up into sections, but from far away, you get as much of a feeling of like
Cohesive.
you see, you know, from the land through the water all the way, you know, through the night sky if possible.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if you like had thought of that.
That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's hard.
You can't, it's tricky.
Really, I haven't considered that, and it's
Yeah.
while
know.
designing, putting the design onto templates and kind of seeing, especially with the breaks,
Yeah.
seeing where things in the design land and adjusting based on how it will look from far away, yeah. So it'll be a kind of a ever-changing design as I'm doing it.
Mhm.
But this digital design here is just to give the overall idea.
Yeah.
And then in terms of making sure that people know that it's stairs. I don't know if anyone's seen any of the staircases in San Francisco, but
Yeah.
when you're there, it's very, very clear
Yeah.
and obvious, especially when you're up close.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and that's clear.
Well, maybe the thing to add from our standpoint that we could work with you is, at the type 2 stair railings, there's gonna be a lot more going on with the metal work, because there's gonna be guardrails. So that's gonna be our canvas. So, and then there's these spots where there's just a handrail. So there's not as much metal work, and maybe there's a bollard, so maybe the mosaics could have a different interest in those spots.
Yeah.
Maybe they preclude or they kind of allude to what's coming next, so then the next section is gonna be lupin. So you start putting in lupins.
I'll
and
put
then-
in thought process.
But yeah, the thought process of how, because the landings, like, this landing's just got a handrail, so then you can do some really interesting things, and then maybe where there's a canvas of some crazy metal work, maybe there's more like smooth designs and not as much.
It's not so.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes,
so
it's
busy.
not so
or
busy.
something, So,
Kind
Yeah,
of we take
I like that.
turns.
take turns, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because those are the spots that the handrails get more complex.
Yeah.
The breaks, you mentioned the breaks, and those are the parts that are more complicated.
I think that's what's really cool about having you both, having all three of you on board is because it is going to create, I think, such great collaboration unique to the site. And I think we're gonna yield something that's just so amazing. I love a collab.
Right.
Like that guy's already.
Absolutely, I just want to bring it up as something that's been on my mind a little bit when designing the bollards, and I don't know if there's any room for any pedestal or anything that has tile work to help that transition between the concrete and
That's what I was thinking, but I did want to suggest something that was too far out of the bounds of
I don't know
like,
what budget.
what you would be comfortable with, but
Maybe the budget does allow for that, I don't know, but it would be, because every time I tried to design them, I thought, well, they kind of needed a little bit more pedestal, to kind of help. And color.
That's
I don't know,
possible.
maybe that's another topic, I just want to throw it out there, yeah.
Yeah, that would tie them together better. Yeah.
Even if it was just a little. Trees. I love the Spanish, tile, fronts and stairs, whole feeling of the risers having something.
Yeah.
Are they going to cast an empty spot for you? Is that how you would work usually, or do you just put it directly in the front?
So there'll be an inlay,
An inlay.
relief. So they'll fit in nicely and they won't stick out anywhere. And no sharp edges or anything.
There'll be a nose that's like,
Yeah.
And then I guess like at the top where there's the prefab. I don't really know what they were gonna do with that part, but that's just something.
Yeah.
Do you know what cause it would be metal, it wouldn't be concrete. Like maybe that's an engineer.
Yeah, the first one, yeah. That's not the public works.
yeah, I don't know if you know that, the last section was
Now we're
supposed to be
going
very fat metal.
Because it has to be above the ground. Everything else is on this ground, concrete, but this piece is above to get up to the level. So there's spots where there are risers that are not concrete.
that's good to point out, actually.
Yeah, we have Karen
Yes.
Finster's your contact. Yeah.
Yeah. For you.
Yeah, for you.
But maybe we should think of.
So, yeah, when we talked to them, they were like, they definitely can make these without handrails, they can just make a weld tab, so that addressed what we were doing, so maybe you can ask them, like, are you gonna allow a piece of something that I can
Hardy
attach hardy
panel.
panel to.
I don't know what,
You know,
what the
so-
material would be for the thing.
Yeah, I'll have a conversation.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you guys have any other questions before, for Angelina, before I open up to the public?
Yeah, I do have one question, because we've talked a lot about the stars and other things, but butterflies,
Mhm.
because I haven't heard, I hate to be the one to bring this up, but I haven't heard anything about like incorporating butterflies into the design.
Well, I can definitely add
Cause that,
that.
okay, because we have like, you know, we have like the mission blue butterfly and we have,
Or from Mariposa.
yeah, right. Right. So it just occurred to me that it's like we've talked a lot about the city of stars, but we haven't really talked about the other thing that kind of is
Yeah,
kind of near and
butterflies.
dear to Brisbane's heart, which is, you know, our butterflies on San Bruno Mountain,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is one of the reasons like, you know, the lupin is important for us too.
That would
because-
be very easy to incorporate as many butterflies as needed. But yeah, they can go anywhere and all over.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I feel like
they,
it could be
but they do
subtle.
need to be the ones that are on San Bruno Mountain.
I can do that.
Keep it all native.
Yes, start throwing some monarchs in there.
Need monarchs.
I know, there are.
Yeah,
monarchs in
same for the
yeah,
plants,
but-
I would say, like whatever
Yeah.
plants you
Yeah.
incorporate, that's probably where that
Yeah.
collaboration
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
Brisbane is like, we're very butterfly and star heavy, but I think it is something that like we are trying, it's not trying to get away from, but like we're trying to expand
Mhm.
our horizons on creatively, maybe
vocabulary.
what all of our pieces of art are about, but I think it's good to have a little nod, but it doesn't necessarily need to be like a butterfly throw up.
No,
Yeah.
no,
But because we're this one.
But
is
it's a natural
so-
piece,
But
yeah.
because this is so
Yeah.
oriented towards
Yes.
the flora
Yes.
of this area, that's why to me it's
Yes.
like, and it makes sense in this project, it's like, if we were doing like, you know, a central figurative sculpture, I wouldn't say, it needs to have a butterfly in its
Yeah,
finger.
yeah,
or
yeah,
something like that, you know, but it's like in something like this, it makes sense that,
Well, I think
Yeah.
of it like as a motif when I speak to people about what they would like in their artwork or we create as a town motif is a little bit more difficult because of history. We come from a town that celebrates butterflies and I know what you mean, that sometimes it feels like it's everywhere you turn, it's another butterfly. But we know, like you mentioned, that those butterflies are the reason why you have that wilderness
Yeah.
up there. So of course, that is a really important thing
Yeah.
for us to recognize that. And thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Albert, do you have any questions or
No.
statements?
It would be more public works, like, my house is on the left side. And is there parking like it was before, in front of our retaining wall? Right now, there are a lot of markings. So my house, and then in front of the house is a retaining wall. And we own part of it to the street, part of it, but not all the way. And then comes alleyway. And then comes greenhouse with the stairs and, the garages and our bonus room. They have the same thing with the retaining wall. So are those retaining walls still going to be used for parking then?
That will be for public works.
See, that's what
Work with them.
because I don't know why there would have to be this on each side, I don't know what that would be for. Because coming down and it's fine. So that was it,
Yeah, I think they want to fill the easement, because.
on that other, on the right
I
side.
don't
That I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I think it's good, and, you for, I'm an artist too, but. Different art. But art is art,
And for those who are online, if you have a question or comment, you may raise your hand if you would like. Oh,
To go off of Terry's concerns, is there an area of safety for people that want to take pictures in the street? Because that's gonna happen.
I don't
There's
see that.
crosswalk or.
Oh.
yeah, I mean, what
Not
do you?
that busy, but.
Like, don't
Yeah, I
be
hear you.
Yeah, we gotta leave that one up to like natural selection.
Yeah.
That could be up to price.
Thank you, thank
But-
you.
But it is a comment though that, you know, we
Yeah.
would address towards Public Works to consider. And especially because it will be for students really being in that area, maybe it would, you know, need to
Slow people down.
have one there. So, you know,
Crosswalk.
Kids,
a little
kids,
crosswalk mid,
Yeah.
you know,
Pretty
mid,
one.
mid,
You
because that's a
make it
very
actually-
long block. That Alvarado Street is a very long block and the school is right there. So I mean, it certainly would make sense. So I think that would be something that would need to be addressed, that we could bring up to Public Works as the process gets moving forward.
I bet you though, like to get a good picture, well, who knows with cameras these days? It may not be right at the end, it may be.
Across the street.
Yeah, across the
That's what I was
Put
thinking.
something at the landing across the street that says.
Photo
"Stand
spot.
here to take your photo, you know, like.
Selfie spot. Yeah, but then you're
It's
opening
liability.
yourself up.
Or
to-
encouraging
Yeah,
it.
encouraging it, you're opening yourself up. to
People
selfies
don't
that way.
need to be
Told how to take
I
a
know.
photograph. They
I'll
can figure
figure
that out. We're not,
Yeah,
we're not
we're not
micromanaging.
The only thing I would say is a speed bump, you know, just
Well,
slow people down.
That's Public Works. So let's move
Yes.
forward.
Okay.
So.
Ah.
The public comments, I know that, right prior to the meeting, someone came in about, just making sure that our signage at the very top and the bottom, are correct. And I haven't received any other public comment other than that. So we would like to
That is-
conclude, I have it set for next Tuesday, February 18th at 5:15 PM.
Meet next meeting.
Next
The next
Tuesday.
meeting, next meeting, next month, Tuesday, February 18th at 5:15 PM. And that will be getting your final draft from the Public Art Master Plan.
Great,
All right.
thank you. Oh,
And Councilmember O'Connell, please. Mute.
You're muted. You're muted.
Is that a special date? I thought these meetings were Mondays.
It's because the Monday before is a holiday.
Yeah, and that's why this one had to get bumped as well. We're usually the third Monday of the month.
It's
so
President's Day on the
but-
17th.
We got MLK this time and then President's next time. I mean, and perhaps at the next meeting, if we want to talk about maybe starting to have them on like every third Tuesday, so we don't run into that
She
problem.
doesn't want to.
Oh, she doesn't want Tuesdays. Okay, got it. Yeah, Mondays are, is normally what it is.
Okay, I was just checking because was my understanding. So, okay, thank you. Until the start of May, Tuesdays is not a problem for me, and at 5:15, it's not a problem normally. So I just wanted to confirm the alleged day.
And we are pretty flexible, so if we ever have to change a meeting because of a Monday, like we look, it doesn't always mean it's the next Tuesday.
Right.
We're pretty flexible.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Councilmember O'Connell, you will note that in the past, we have had people maybe are traveling, whatever, and we deviate from that third Monday sort of on a regular basis.
Okay, I'm just checking. Thank you.
All right. All right, and with that, I will adjourn the meeting and thank you so much.
Thank you,
for-
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.